Mr. Bradley, you have referred to Mr. Wade as your client, correct?
Correct.
You understand that the court has ruled that communications that you had with Mr. Wade are not privileged, correct?
No, I'm aware that the court ruled that
The text messages between me
one
and Ashley.
specific dealing with the time frame of one specific conversation wasn't privileged.
Then I'm going to ask Your Honor, if it's that the limitation or
To clarify,
email.
sure, Mr. Sadow, you asked whether all communications with Mr. Wade, I think, were covered. That was not the extent of the ruling. The only ones that I deemed were not covered, and that I'd asked
Establishing
about in
the
the
date
in-camera
of the
hearing because those are the
relationship.
ones that were relevant, were any communications Mr. Wade made regarding the existence or non-existence of a romantic relationship with Ms. Willis.
Fine, thank you, Your Honor. I understand. So going back to this line of inquiry, when you say you don't have personal knowledge, what I want to ask you to start with is very simple. Did you have communications with Mr. Wade about the relationship between Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis? It's a simple yes and no.
Repeat the question, please.
Yes.
Okay. And is it your testimony that during the time you were representing him, which I understood started sometime in 2018, is that correct?
That's the time frame that I remember, yes.
Is it your testimony under oath that with regard to conversations with Mr. Wade about his relationship with Ms. Willis, that you only had one such conversation during the time you represented
This is
Mr.
the question. This is good.
One conversation of what?
Oh, he's
I apologize.
Yeah, apologize all you want.
The only thing I'm asking about is that area that the court said is not privileged.
You
which is
represented
the
him for
relationship
3
between
years?
Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis.
And you had one conversation?
You've testified that during the time you represented Mr. Wade,
Yes.
from 2018 on,
Bring it, Sadow.
that you only had one conversation with him in reference to the relationship between Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade.
That was
Is
your
correct?
testimony, correct?
Yeah, I think that's fairly accurate, yes.
Okay, so out of the entire time, I'm talking about could be 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. When did you stop representing Mr. Wade?
It was a few months after I left the firm.
All right, give me the approximate
Date,
time.
2022?
I left maybe June, July of 2022, maybe.
Okay, so that would suggest that for, assuming it's 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021,
Yes, say it out.
and half of 2022, which is in
4
the vicinity of 4
years.
to 4.5 years, you're testifying under oath you had one conversation about a relationship between Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis. Is that correct?
Bring it, Sadow. Under oath. Perjury.
I
Disbarment.
don't recall having any other conversation with Mr. Wade about him and Miss Willis.
Is it your testimony then that you don't remember any other conversation, or there wasn't any other conversation besides the one?
I'm going to object us to ask the answer.
Yeah, you can sit down and be
He's
quiet.
drilling down. I think that's a fair question overruled.
I don't recall. I would say it was the one, but I don't recall.
This is damn good.
You testified that you did have communications with Mr. Wade about him visiting with Miss Willis at a condo or apartment, correct?
Look at the pen.
I don't think I testified that I had a conversation. I testified that any knowledge that I would have known anything about any condo would have come from that, but I don't recall a conversation about that. I do not recall a conversation about that.
Say it again. Convince yourself.
Do you recall any other thing at this point in time under oath that would indicate when the relationship started between Mr. Wade and Miss Willis?
I do not know when the relationship
That's
started
not what he asked you.
between Mr. Wade and Miss Willis.
Not what he asked you.
I cannot recall
so I'm
that.
gonna-
I can't. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to drill down on that now, okay?
Yes, sir.
Drill down on that.
Mr. Wade was hired as the special prosecutor on November 1st of 2021. You're aware of that, correct?
November 2021.
I have my contracts to show when I started. No one showed me the contract of when he started, but
That's my
but
understanding.
if he has a contract for November 1st of 2021, then that's correct.
All right. I'm going to suggest to you that the record will reflect that the contract between Miss Willis and Mr. Wade was November 1st of 2021, correct? I want you just to accept that, okay?
Objection. He doesn't have to accept
Is it your
anything.
testimony that you don't know under oath whether or not there was a relationship between Mr. Wade and Miss Willis
As
before
of
the contract?
November 2021. Listen to this.
I do not recall any dates of when the relationship started. So whether you are pinpointing a date of when his contract started or not, I'm telling you, I did not recall any specific date that he flat out said anything about a relationship with Miss Willis.
Okay. Now I want to go, based on what you've just said, let's go to what was Defense Exhibit 26. Okay? In Defense Exhibit 26, which I showed you last time, was 2 pages of text messages between you and Miss Merchant, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, the first page starts off by saying, Miss Merchant, like just date, don't hire him. Do you think it started before she hired him? You see that?
See, this is good. Not to compare it or poo-poo Ashley. This is good. One conversation in
Yes,
four and a
I
half
see it.
years.
Yes.
And your response to that was absolutely, correct?
I'm going to object, asked and answered in cumulative.
All right, so, Mr. Sadow, I do think we went through a lot of these texts.
Oh, you better wipe that sweat down.
We didn't
Whose
go through
phone is
this
that?
whole one.
Just a second, Mr. Sadow.
Shut that phone off.
All right. I'm sorry, Mr. Sadow. Well, you said we didn't go through this particular one?
No, we stopped right there. I want to go,
I answered because this
So
is the exact
there's-
language that she
repeat
just
your answer.
stated a few minutes ago. You could read it back
Okay, Mr.
in the
Sadow.
record.
You saying both of these 2 exhibits weren't already covered by Ms. Merchant?
it
Not,
was
not thoroughly.
this particular language was not gone into. I'm doing it based on the exhibit itself. Well, let's do it this way. I now move into evidence Defense Exhibit number 26.
Okay.
All right,
What is
and
it?
I'd have to search through my notes, but does anyone recall that one actually been tendered in a minute already?
It was.
No, it was only presented to Your Honor for you to take back into camera ex parte to speak with Mr. Bradley and his counsel.
Okay, Ms. Merchant is indicating that it was admitted.
I thought Mr. Sadow admitted it, but I'm organizing, and putting them back in order.
This is why it's good to have multiple
I think
turns.
I just admit the copies of the
All right.
documents we're all referring to.
All right, so Defense Exhibit 26 and 27 are being tendered.
Well, actually, only 26 at this time,
Okay, Defense Exhibit 6, any objection from the state?
but 26.
26.
This is a portrait of justice in action.
I'm going to object as it relates to foundation and authentication. It
Oh,
was
shut
used to,
up. Listen to him.
During the last hearing.
Listen
for
to him lead the
purposes
witness.
of, refreshing his recollection, and it's my recollection is that it didn't refresh his recollection.
Oh, that's telling the witness what to answer.
Asked and answered in cumulative.
Okay. As to foundation on authentication, I think Mr. Bradley has recognized them as texts that he sent and received.
How does
so
the judge let him get away with this? I don't know.
I think I'd overrule on that basis any other objections to their admissibility from any other defense counsel, and seeing none. Defense Exhibit 26 is now admitted. Mr. Sadow.
Testify.
Thank you.
Bring
All
it.
right, let's continue. Now I'm publishing it. After you said the word absolutely, on your own, you said it started when she left the DA's office and was judge in South Fulton.
Your
They met at
And let him finish the question and be quiet.
All right, understood, Mr. Vadi. I'm going to let Mr. Sadow have a few minutes on this, and we'll go from there. But
Judge, well, I'm sorry. I did answer this. I answered it for Ms.
Understood.
Merchant. I stated that I was speculating. The judge, someone objected to the speculation, but this was the exact same language.
all right, well, thank you
when
for
I
that
said
recap,
that I
Mr. Bradley. Mr. Sadow's
speculate.
asking the question in a slightly different manner, and I'm going to give him a little bit of leeway to do that. So, Mr. Sadow.
You said it.
I hesitate to have to start back where I was, but
Do it.
after the word absolutely, you on your own said it started when she left the DA's office.
I made it up.
And was judge in South Fulton.
I made it up.
They met at the municipal court CLE conference. That's what you said, correct?
That is
CLE
correct.
is continued learning
Now,
education.
It's your
legal education.
testimony, at least so far,
That you made it up.
that when you on your own gave those two statements in the text, that you were merely speculating and did not have that knowledge from Mr. Wade.
Who
Is
believes
that your
it?
testimony under oath?
Yes, that's what I testified to. Yes, sir.
So you on your own came up with the whole notion that it started when she left the DA's office and was judge in South Fulton. That's, according to you, that's speculation on your part, correct?
Overruled.
Overruled.
That's
Shut
the
up,
question, Mr.
lawyer.
Bradley.
Yes, that's speculation on my part. Yes.
Right. It had nothing to do with what Mr. Wade had told you, correct?
I answered your question.
No,
I was
it's another one.
speculating To
It's another
the
one.
answer. That is correct.
So maybe you can tell the court in your own words, why in the heck would you speculate in this text message and say that it started when she left the DA's office and was a judge in South Fulton?
Because I was just trying to be helpful.
Why would you speculate and say that in a text?
I was just trying to be helpful. I thought I'd be helpful.
I knew they had met at the municipal court conference.
How do you know that? I'll stop you right there. How did you know that?
I
Objection,
answered
asked and
that
answered.
at the last.
Answer it again.
I'm
knew
asking
that.
you now.
How did you know that?
I'm
because when-
asking you now.
Ask-
I'm asking you questions, and you are in a situation where you get to give answers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you, how did you know that?
Stop. Just let him answer.
How did I know when they met?
Somebody told you that, right?
When they met?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Who?
Who told you?
Mr. Wade told me when they met.
So
Bamo!
you had more than one conversation about the relationship between Mr. Wade and Miss Willis because he told you where he met her.
That's
correct?
incorrect. Incorrect.
Oh, okay.
It's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
When did he tell you that?
Let's go back to the exhibit.
Toast. This is toast.
Why would you speculate that that's when they started the relationship? What would cause you to put that down as speculation?
I don't recall, but why I thought that it started at that time.
But you just said he told you.
I do recall that he only met her, and I testified to that he met her at that conference, which was in 2019.
You knew that Ashley Merchant represented a defendant in this case when you were text messaging with her.
Did you
correct?
not? Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. Yes.
And you knew that the reason she was asking you questions about Mr. Wade
Was because she was preparing.
she was trying to show
proceedings.
when the relationship began, correct?
That's correct. Well, I don't know.
that's
I don't know
not.
what she was thinking.
100%
It's not what the
correct.
beginning of the text message.
Sadow's crushing it right now, in my humble view.
Yes, but what
Text message-
messages were before this message, before she sent that?
I can't answer that question because I don't have them. All I have is what's in front of you.
Yes.
And it says that she says, do you think it started before she hired me?
Yes,
So you knew,
definitely.
as the counsel for a defendant in this case, that Ms. Merchant was asking you specifically about the knowledge that you had regarding the timing of the relationship between Wade and Ms. Willis, correct?
I mean, based on this, yes, I see what
And
was
in,
asked.
and in response to that, you answered directly on your own what you now claim to be speculation.
Well, he just
right?
confirmed that Wade told him. I thought he
So I
confirmed.
ask you one more time before I move to the next part of this. Why would you speculate when she was asking you a direct question about when the relationship started?
I just want it to be helpful.
I have no answer for that.
Oh!
Except for the fact that you do, in fact, know when it started, and you don't want to testify to that in court. That's the best explanation, isn't it?
This is completely
Overruled.
argumentative.
Overruled. Be quiet, lawyer. Don't tell the witness what to do.
That's the true explanation, because you don't want to admit it in court, correct?
No, I have no direct knowledge of when the relationship started.
I'm not going to go back through that again. Well, if you didn't know, and you were asked specifically as this exhibit shows,
Why?
maybe you can explain why you wouldn't say, I don't know.
Saying it a lot now.
Is that a question?
Yeah.
You're asking
Oh,
me a
yeah.
question
Yeah.
to ask me?
Definite question.
Why didn't you say?
State that again. I apologize.
Ah!
If you're being asked,
Lawyer's going to
as we've
object.
just gone through with this text message from Miss Merchant,
Yes.
as the attorney for a co-defendant,
Yes.
and she's asking you about the relationship, and she's clearly asking you about the timing, why wouldn't you just have said
I don't
in
know.
response, I don't know when it started?
I don't know why I didn't say I don't know.
Ah! I don't
Maybe,
know
again,
why
it's
I
because
didn't
you
say
know
it.
what the truth is, and that's why you answered exactly the way you did in Defense Exhibit 26, correct?
Someone's going to have to clip
No, I
that.
can't sit here and tell you that what you just stated was correct.
I don't know why I didn't say I
What
don't
you
know.
want the court to believe, and you want the rest of us to believe, is that for some unknown reason, upon being asked a direct question about when the relationship started, you decided on your own to simply speculate and put it down in a text message as opposed to putting down what you actually knew. That's what you want the court to believe, correct?
I don't know why I said it. I don't know why I didn't say I don't know. And I can't remember
That
why I
was a
didn't say it.
lot. So can you break that down? I apologize.
I apologize.
You're asking me, do I want the court to just
To believe that instead of saying nothing, you decided on your own to speculate.
Yes, I speculated. Yes, I've stated that I speculated. Yes, sir.
That's what you want the court to believe, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now, then when you go to the next page of that,
He did just say he got
Okay.
specific information from
you
Wade.
see it starts, the best that I can see, it starts in South Fulton. Is that what you have in front of you? Second page.
The second page that I have says, that's what I figured.
Okay, that may be cut off from the one that I have. I'm looking at my opening line says in South Fulton. Is that on your second page?
No, so if you're going in order of the pages, no, neither page starts with South Fulton.
No, don't get caught up on whether it starts that way. Does the second page have a line in there that says in South Fulton?
In West South Fulton, born and raised.
Oh, yes, I apologize. So, yes.
That's fine.
Yes,
Just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
yes.
Okay. You say after in South Fulton, they met at the municipal court CLE conference, right?
Yes.
You see that?
Yes, that's correct.
And then Miss Merchant says, that's what I figured when he was married. Is this accurate? Upon information and belief.
Good question.
Willis and Wade met while both were serving as magistrate judges and began a romantic relationship at that time. You see, that's what she said, right?
No, I mean, so it says they
Wait.
met at municipal court CLE. The only other thing here says, that's what I figured when he was married. There's no response for me on that day. And then there's another response, I guess a question that says, is this accurate?
Okay, that's what I just went over with you.
Okay, so I don't have anything in that, is this accurate at all? I can show the court,
No.
it just says, is this accurate with the question mark? I don't have anything following that.
You don't have, after that, upon information and belief, Willis and Wade met while both were serving as magistrate judges and began a romantic relationship
Okay,
at that.
I apologize. It goes to the next page. I apologize.
No problem. Just
Yes.
want to make sure
So,
that.
no, I see that now, yes.
All right, so that's what I just read is exactly what Ms. Merchant said to you in the text, right?
Yes.
Yes, that was in the test. Is it accurate upon further information? Yes, that's there.
And
Yes.
And what did you
again,
answer?
Since you have told us that you were speculating when you gave the answer that we went over with previously, on this one, you don't say, I don't know. You simply correct her by saying no, municipal court, right?
I don't know why I said that.
Yes, so she asked, was it accurate? And I said it wasn't accurate. No, it wasn't accurate. It was municipal court.
Right, and when you said it wasn't accurate, it was municipal court, you didn't say, no, that's not accurate. They didn't start a romantic relationship at that time, correct?
No, but I was referring to the municipal court. No, it wasn't accurate as it applied to I was answering the no municipal court, meaning when she said, is that accurate? It was to the municipal court and not magistrate court.
Okay, but you didn't say that the rest of what she asked you was accurate. You didn't say, no, that's inaccurate. That's not true.
I don't know why.
That's not accurate. You simply said the only thing that wasn't accurate was municipal court should be there instead of magistrate, right?
So I was answering the question of, it was a compound question.
No. So,
And
who
who
prepped you for that?
answering the question of,
It was a compound question.
she wrote magistrate court and I said, no, municipal court.
Right, but it's not compound. It's one statement upon
Mr. Sadow.
information and belief. I'm sorry.
I
You'll
know
plead.
that's
You'll-
okay. I know the feedback and the delay is complicates things, but I think you've adequately made your point here. I don't think we need to belabor it much longer. Let's move on to the next issue.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Bradley, prior to coming into court today,
Did you meet with anybody, any
did
counsel?
you and your lawyer meet with anyone from the district attorney's office?
No,
Lie.
I mean,
Did your-
no.
Oh, whoa!
Not that I know, I'm aware of, no. I
Have
did
you
not
had
meet to
any-
anyone.
Sorry.
I did not
cut
meet
you
with
off.
anyone outside of my attorneys.
Did you have any conversation?
I did not.
Meeting, conversation.
I did not.
So you have not spoken, if I understand you correctly.
Have some
Prior to
text.
coming into court today,
Have
you've
some
not
cell.
spoken with the prosecutors.
Cell records,
No.
please. Please have some
Right?
cell records.
I've not spoken to the prosecutors. I've not spoken to defense.
Have you spoken to Mr. Wade?
No.
Fingers crossed.
So as far as just getting into the courtroom today, there's been no contact or conversation in it with any of the parties we just went over, right?
There has not been any contact with defense or the state at all.
I think I have basically just one or two more questions.
Oh, I wish you had some cell
Why
records.
would you
although-
see the need to speculate when you were texting with Miss Merchant?
I don't know.
I
I don't know.
I think we did cover that one.
Yeah, I
Mr.
just- I was-
Sadow.
His better answer would have been, I was just trying to be helpful.
I think that exact question was already put to him.
Yes, it was. Judge is paying attention, which is a good sign, by the way. Sorry.
What would be the next one?
I'm trying to look. Let's go to 27.
I have to pee, everybody. I've been holding it in this entire cross, or this
Defense
entire...
Exhibit 27. Do you have that now, sir?
I do, sir.
All right. Would you look at it and tell me whether or not the Defense Exhibit 27 appears to be accurate? Because I want to seek to introduce it into evidence. It consists of an email to you from Ms. Merchant and a text response from you, correct?
But the text response was not in response. So yes, it does consist of the email and a text response. I'm not saying that the text response applies to the entire email that was sent.
All I've asked you right now is,
Yes,
is the email and the text, are those accurate in the interaction that makes up Defense Exhibit 27?
as it applies to the stapling of the email and the stapling of a text message chain, yes, that is Defendant's Exhibit 27. This is, it's accurate.
Okay, I would move Defense Exhibit 27 in. I believe it was treated the same way as 26 last time. Your
Same
Honor.
objections, Mr. Abadi?
Yes, Judge.
All right, overruled. Any other objections from defense counsel? Seeing none, Defendant's Exhibit 27 is admitted.
All right.
Anything else?
Your Honor, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether you'll find this objectionable or not. I'll ask it, obviously.
All right.
Mr. Bradley, you realize that if you were to testify under oath, that you knew from Mr. Wade that the relationship between him and Miss Willis existed before the contract in November 1st of 2021, that if you testified that you knew that from Mr. Wade, that would show that both Miss Willis and Mr. Wade had lied under oath.
Objection.
You know that, don't
Question
you?
of opinion. Law.
I think that's going to call for an opinion on the credibility of another testifying witness. So I don't think
Calls
that
for a
would be
legal,
an
a legal
appropriate
conclusion.
Then that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Sadow. Mr. Stockton.